Hi everyone, Lance here. I have a story for you guys. So I go to a Mormon congregation in Fountain Valley. In our church, we call congregations wards. Today I went to a different ward. I went to the Golden West Young Single Adult Ward. One of the reasons why I was there is because in my ward, I'm part of the activities committee. We do a few things. We plan activities for our ward, for other wards to join ours in whatever activity. We plan dances. We do all these different, I'm trying to not use the word activities redundantly, but I don't know what else to use. So we plan a bunch of activities for a bunch of different congregations. And one thing that we're trying to do right now, so my ward is for people 31 and older. I don't know what our age range is. I think it's 31 to 45 single adults. And then there's the young single adult wards, and it's like age 18 to 30, 31. So I'm older than 31. I'm still one of the younger ones in my ward, and so what they want me and one of my other committee members to do is to visit the YSA wards. That's a young single adult ward, kind of like bridge the gap between the young wards and the ward that I'm a part of. I'm saying ward a lot because there's people who are like 28, 29 who are going to eventually move into our congregation, and we want to be able to kind of bridge that gap and make it comfortable for them, so it's not so foreign and weird sounding. We want to make the transition easier. So I go to these different congregations and just kind of, I guess, promote the different things that we're doing. This ward today, I wasn't really promoting anything, but I was there kind of talking with people and just getting known and stuff. I needed to get contact information for their activity committee people, which I did. You're welcome, Rebecca. Also, there was a guy involved, and I'm just going to leave it at that. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the ward today. At this point, the congregation had broken up into smaller groups, and I was in a classroom setting learning about salvation, and there was this older advisor couple there. I don't know how old they are, maybe 50s, 60s, I don't know. So they're sitting in the back, and I remember seeing her earlier, and she'd made some comments. I'm like, oh, I like this woman, she's cool. And so near the end of the class, I looked back at her. She was reading something, and I'm like, what is it about her face and her voice? I recognize this lady. I'm like, why is this familiar? I was actually kind of impressed because my mind started putting it together really quickly who this lady was. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that lady from my mission? If I recognized the guy sitting next to her and I leaned over and I saw the guy, I'm like, yep, they are from my mission. The guy looked more or less the same, a little bit older. I mean, this was about 12 years ago. But she looked different. When I had known her, her hair was down to here and brown, and now she had it cut and bleach blonde. It was like that chef, the chef with the hair. She terrifies me. I don't know her name though. But the hair, she looks like she got lightning struck. What's the feeling I felt? I don't feel this emotion a lot. Horrified or mortified that they were here in the same room as me, let alone in Orange County or California. They should be in Missouri. I do not know what they're doing here. I couldn't even believe this was happening. I started to question whether or not I was really awake because I've been having some weird dreams lately. Not necessarily bad dreams, but just weird and realistic too. I'm like, this cannot be happening. This doesn't happen in real life. I have to be dreaming right now. I'm asleep. I'm asleep in bed, and I'm having a dream. Something I do when I'm usually awake, and I want to know if I'm having a dream or not, is I'll get a shampoo bottle or something, and I'll read the ingredients on it. It's very unlikely that I have the ingredients memorized that I can recall during a dream and read it off. But this is going to be a long video. I am so sorry, you guys. For normal people, running into someone that they recognize from their mission would be a happy experience, and it would be a good thing. But they didn't know Lance before his mission. They didn't know Lance after his mission. They knew missionary version Lance, who was the absolute worst version of myself. And I realize that some people from my mission might be seeing this video right now, and I'm so sorry that you knew me between 2005 and 2007. I am so much more charming now and before. Like, you really knew the worst me. Because I was an awful missionary, and I'm not being humble. Like, I can just admit it and own it that I like to blame it on the medication I was on at the time. But anyway, I'm sorry. But that's why I was horrified to see these people here, because I don't like the version of myself that they knew. Okay? I almost had an anxiety attack thinking that this was happening. And I was trying to think, okay, what do I do if they start to recognize me? What do I do if they ask me, where did I serve my mission? Because I don't like to lie. I don't like to lie. I served my mission in Wichita, Kansas, or Iola, Kansas, and just mention everything I did in Kansas and don't see a thing about Missouri. Maybe they'll think that I was a Kansas missionary. My mission actually covered Missouri and Kansas, but I was trying to think of what could I say to just not let them know that I'm, that horrible missionary they knew. This was all assuming that they did recognize me. To be fair, like I said, this was about 12 years ago that I knew them. I did not have a shaved head. Physically, I don't know, I think I looked more or less about the same. Probably buffer now, but I do look a lot different. So I was texting my friend telling him, hey, this is happening. And holy crap. He reminded me, like, you look different. They probably don't remember you. Like, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, you're right. I'm probably nothing will happen. And actually, nothing did happen. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. And that was another thing. Is at the beginning of class, we went around introducing ourselves. And like an idiot, I said my first and last name. I don't know if they heard me say that, or even if they remembered my last name, because on the mission, you go by Elder and then your last name. So I was known as Elder Olson. That's what they would have known me as, or unless they had some horrible nickname for me that they said behind my back, which is totally possible. So relieved that I didn't have to interact with them, because I just can't imagine it being a good thing. So church ended, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go home, but they're having this thing called Linger Longer, and that's where people stay after church and they eat and mingle and talk to people. So I was like, there's no way in heck that I'm going to stay for that, because there's a good chance that this wife and husband are going to be there, and I do not want to give them the chance to recognize me and talk to me. It just would not have been good. After church, I left. I actually got in my car and I drove, but I didn't leave the parking lot because I realized, you know what, Lance, you're here, in part, not just because of the guy that you wanted to see, but also because you have a job to do, and you need to mingle with these people, get yourself known with them so that you can promote the activities and not be some stranger. Fine, I'll stay. And you know what? As an introvert, this is a hard thing for me to do, to talk to people who I don't know and schmooze it up with people. I go back in, and I'm like, okay, I have to be charming and friendly and stuff, which those two things go against my nature also. But luckily for me, when I get nervous and anxious, my charm turns itself on, and just it makes it easier for me to talk to people. I don't know, whatever. It's a thing that happens, and I'm thankful for it. It was interesting how they did their Linger Longer. I had never seen it done this way before. But usually they'll have long tables set up with food. You grab your plate and you go down the line, like a buffet, and get food or something. But with this, they had 3 or 4 round tables set up. Like, not in a line, but like, just in random places. And one table had like the silverware and plates, one table had candies, one table had waffles and salad on it, and another one had what looked like spinach dip and like savory appetizer things. I got a brownie, and I actually got a waffle. I'm not a big fan of waffles, but they had this strange looking syrup that I wanted to taste. Because I wasn't sure if it was for the waffles or the salad, because it looked like it could go either way. It looked like it could be a salad dressing or something you put on your waffles. It ended up being some homemade syrup. It was lighter in color and it was delicious. The syrup was so good, super buttery, and it kind of soaked into the waffles. And oh my, if anyone from that ward is watching this, and I don't know that anyone is because I'm not really friends with anyone in there, but in case, whoever made that syrup, good on you. It was so good. The older couple wasn't there for linger longer, so I didn't run into them. It wasn't some horrible experience, but I can't believe they were there. My past totally came back to haunt me today, and it was not a fun feeling. It was very unpleasant. It's not that I hate these people. I don't. Yeah, I'm making them sound like they're bad people, and that's not what I'm trying to do. It's just that they're from a time in my life that I don't want to revisit, and I don't want to bring back to my home, and yet here they are in my hometown. Well, my hometown meaning Orange County, which is made up of a bunch of towns. You get what I'm saying. Video is up to almost 23 minutes. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.